Like to hustle somebody on a weekday.
Yo, 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 we are live.
What's
We
going on,
are
fam?
live. Yep, yep, yep. So it's looking like they set Mr. Cosby free.
Man, do free.
Mm-mm. How
You
you
know what
feel
I'm gonna
about that?
do? I'm gonna start. I'm gonna go through a whole bunch of these groups I'm in, and I'm gonna randomly read some responses. I ain't gonna attribute it to nobody.
Mm,
I'm just gonna
mm-mm.
randomly read some responses.
People out here mad, man. People out here big
It's
mad.
it's it's split. It's splitting the
Definitely.
black. It's splitting black
It's
Twitter
de- it's
down
definitely
the middle.
split.
It's splitting black or predominantly black YouTube groups down the middle.
Right.
Um, we know me and you got a certain way we look at it. We'll get into that.
Right,
But
right, right.
people split. Some people saying free copy. I saw one dude say R. Kelly next. I was like, I don't know. I don't know, Playboy.
Hey, what
But
about the meme? The meme Ty put up with the strong ass Bill Cosby.
yeah, like he been doing sit ups and squats in the yard.
Yeah, but like, with my dinner, I'm home. Give me my sweater.
Man, honestly though, it's some parts of this that also is going to ring true in the R. Kelly case.
Mm,
If you think about it, when we get into that legal mumbo jumbo, there's some parts of it that's going to get to the R. Kelly case and people are going to see that as a misjustice too. But ultimately, the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania reviewed the case. They looked it over, and they said that he needs to be released post haste. He should have never been
Post
charged.
haste.
Uh,
Take them
they were
shackles
very
off that
careful.
man.
They were very careful in their wording to not say he was exonerated,
Mm,
but to say that he should never have been tried in the first place. And the kicker is they can't try it again
right.
because now the judge was like, anything you bring up about it again will lead to the same level of mischaracter of justice. So it's over. It's done.
Done.
I mean, unless someone brings a new case that's within the statute of
And how
limitations.
they gonna get that though? Like, I mean, has he been doing rapes in the last
I don't know.
10 years? I
I don't
mean, I
know.
don't know what the statute is for every state and jurisdiction, but unless he was doing fresh rapes,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
There's some things about the Cosby thing that disturbs me, and I say that because we can't we can't allow we can't allow predators in our neighborhoods for one thing, and but we also can't allow the rules of law to convict black men to be changed on a whim.
mm,
You know, the
right,
only thing that we can fight for in most cases is case law. We can fight for fairness, and then we can't then go in and trade in that fairness because we want to lock somebody up. And I think that's ultimately what the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania came down with, which coincidentally is the same thing that we were seeing in our group some 2, 3 odd years ago. That this is going against uh, this is going against case law.
mm. I don't know, man. I didn't know a lot of this stuff. I didn't know. I didn't know that they had to use. Um, I didn't know. Well, I knew about the deposition, but I didn't know that the deposition was told to him that it can't be used against him in a criminal trial.
So because we're not trying to create any hoopla, we both looked over the deposition today.
Mm-hmm.
I read the entire thing, and they deposed him 4 times, 4 different sessions. The one that we looked at was very contentious, but it was very honest. And what happened was in the case of the last lady who filed charges, I think her name was Constant or whatever, Andrea
Constant or something like that.
Constant. She a year later she filed charges a year later,
Mm.
and instead of going after him criminally, she went after him civilly.
Okay.
A lot of that was because the DA at the time thought that with the time that had passed, the severity of the crime, and the acknowledgments that she made in her police statement that I also read, and that Cosby made in his police statements that I also read, which I agree, it was going to be a big he said, she said thing. And so she, instead of taking the opportunity to say, hey, I want to take him to court criminally, she opted to go civilly because there was less to prove.
Right.
And in that civil course of action, she agreed that, well, they made an agreement with Cosby that if he was deposed, what he said in his deposition will never be used against him criminally.
Right. Correct.
So that's what this whole thing is really, that's what today really came down to. Prosecutor and alleged offenders agreement that then someone went back on. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. You made an agreement, and what the Supreme Court was saying was it undermines the statute and the law that a prosecutor can make an agreement, and then another prosecutor or another DA can come in behind him and say that agreement is null and void.
Right.
So
I don't know, man. Here's my thing. All right. Whether you believe Cosby did these rapes or these sexual assaults or not, wherever you fall on the fence, you still got to prove somebody guilty, and showing a deposition that should have never been used in court is not.
I agree.
It's not legal. It's not legal. So my thing is, why was he ever in jail in the first place? Like, why is it now? What judge allowed this to happen? What
the thing, and this is kind of what happened. And again, very careful with how we present this information, because again, everybody's split.
Mm-hmm.
What the issue you have is you had him go to trial in the first trial, and I believe at that point it was a mistrial, or it was a hung jury. They didn't convict him, essentially.
Right.
And in that argument, the judge allowed certain people to be character witnesses.
Okay.
I think there was only one in the first trial, and then the second trial came. So now you're taking your second attempt at it, and in that second attempt, we're at the heart of Me Too. Well, I say the heart, I'll say the beginning. We're at the beginning of Me Too. Cosby is one of the people that people are rallying around. Mm-hmm. Believe the women, and the judge in that case, I think it's the same. Actually, I think it's the same judge. Allowed more women to, and this is when everybody's saying believe the women. He allowed more women to come in and testify as character witnesses to what was thought of as a predatory attitude. Now, that predatory attitude was then further proven in Cosby's own words in his deposition. You see what I'm saying? Now, what up, Debo?
What up, man?
What's up,
y'all going on?
Man, we talking about this Cosby, man.
Yeah.
So
my bro was saying they let him go today.
Yeah, man, he got
yeah,
free.
man, he out.
Yeah, I wasn't even hip, man. I just heard. I'm happy for him.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: why you happy? What are your thoughts on this whole thing?
Well, they done held the brother down for long enough. I mean, I guess evidence say he did what he did and done what he done. He's always been. I ain't saying that makes it right that he's people's childhood favorite, but I mean, I feel like this stuff should have been nipped in the bud right when it all started. It's too it's too similar to what happened to R. Kelly to me. You know,
Okay.
brothers getting locked up for shit that just may or may not have happened in the past or things of that sort. You know, but he got acquitted. As I mean, he got accused. So you know, you got to do what you got to do. You know, the system is for everybody. Can't shake that. So.
All right. I just wanted to get your stance on it, man. That's what I'm gonna do as people come in. If we can get some more people to come in, just ask them initially, you know, how they feel about it. If they feel, you know, what side of the fence they may fall on. Because
what side of the fence you on?
I wasn't there. And
Right.
I ain't God. I wasn't there and I ain't God. So I can't judge nobody. You know, like it's man, it's here's the thing, bro. It sounds crazy to me that you have 50 women.
It's more than 50.
More than, well, we're gonna say 50
All
plus. You got 50 plus, and nobody, like, in the time it happened, ran to the police.
Not one of them. You feel me? Same thing with
Like,
kids.
you know, and I'm not saying it didn't happen. It's just weird to me.
Same thing with kids.
When something, this is the way when something don't make sense to me, I'm gonna back out. Because I can't. Again, it's too. Nobody was there. It's too much he said, she said about it. There's too much he said, she said about it. So I don't know what to think. I don't know what happened. So now let's have a trial. Now you can't find evidence. If you can't find evidence, then let the man go. There's no evidence. There's no concrete evidence. Let the man go. To try to take something, a deposition that was, I mean, we don't know if this deposition was taken under duress. And if you heard the deposition, he didn't cop to anything. I mean, he just said, I got drugs, basically. Like, you know.
It was certain parts of that deposition, and we're gonna jump on you too, Price. It was certain parts of that deposition though that was very telling to me. And the major thing, and I think this is what we were talking about, Paul. The major thing was the man said he don't do Quaaludes.
Right.
He said he don't do Quaaludes, and he said that other than the beer, he don't drink. So it seems like to me, either he's a big time predator, or two, he has the party drugs that people used in that day and time.
Right.
You know, we've seen Wolf of Wall Street. We've seen these. We know what Quaaludes are. So it's like I carry the party drugs to have the parties and have the things that I want to have, or I'm drugging people.
Right.
For the sake of raping them.
Back then, you probably be surprised.
So it's one or two.
You probably be surprised on how many people just said these are party favors. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what you're supposed to have at a party.
Right.
Now, again, like, I'm not. He could have been 50 for 50 and raped all these women, but I wouldn't have. Again, I wouldn't have. So I can only go off of common sense to me, and common sense tells me you can't get 50 women to do any one thing all at the same time. Like how did all y'all not go to the police?
And
like,
shut up about it, on top of that.
Right.
Shut up.
Either it happened and all y'all just didn't go to the police, or this man is the most successful rapist ever.
Of all time. So, like, common sense tells me something. Right. Common sense tells me one thing, another thing tells me something. So, and guess what? They could both be true. He could be the most successful predatory rapist of all time, and he can also say, "Hey, I'm a guy who sleeps around on my wife, and I have party favors to get people, to make everybody comfortable."
Right.
Because here's the thing. In the deposition, it was shown that he paid people off. Like Donald Trump, he had people, he was passing out money. It showed that he sponsored some colleges. He gave some people paid for people for their education. This is outside of his his educational foundation that he was doing it with. So he would basically have people pay to the education foundation, and then he said in the deposition that he was paying people's education out of pocket, and he did it out of pocket so his wife wouldn't find out.
Right.
So there was agreements. There was agreements being made here. There was quid pro quos here. There was trade-offs, and if I'm not saying that he didn't rape anybody, but when the decision came to take said rapist to the police, certain people took trade-offs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even this lady took a trade-off. She was given money, and and he paid for her school and her brother's school. And
so wait. So the Comstock lady took payments and stuff.
He paid for her to go to school as long as she maintained a 3.0 average.
Wow, that's crazy.
And it wasn't until later. And see, this is my point. And we didn't get to how you feel?
Hold on,
Price?
before I get to you, Price. Somebody named Rocky Bayou just put on here. Cosby is free to assault more women. So I'm gonna do that. I mean, if I see something interested enough, I'll throw it up there. Rocky, if you listening, you can hop on, man. Hold on, let me put the link in here. If you want to get on, and if you want to, say something.
At his age, I don't think he.
You don't think
Cosby's age? I don't know if he.
No, he said he's listening. He says he's listening. So
I don't even think he's capable of climbing up on Miss Cosby these days.
Right, bro.
My position is this: do I think Cosby is a predator? Absolutely. I mean, it's a predatory nature. What he's doing is predatory. Do I think certain people took advantage of that positioning? Yeah, certain people had the quid pro quo. But where I come down on the Cosby thing is this.
My bad.
Where I come down on the Cosby thing is this. I can't allow the system to change the law to convict somebody.
Correct.
I can't. So if he had a deposition that he gave in a previous case, he gave that deposition for that civil case that she brought. And he gave that deposition for that civil case, which he lost, to then, under the guise of it, would be used for a criminal case. So this chick is, essentially, in illegal speaking, she's double dipping. This is, I'm gonna hit you for a civil suit using this deposition, and then I'm gonna Me Too you to use this deposition again in a criminal suit.
But that's the whole thing. Deposition was supposed to be sealed and never used.
Well, not sealed, but just not used against them. But
no, they said it was sealed and not used.
But the thing is, I can't allow for you to change the law to convict somebody.
Right.
Because it's that slippery slope where we start bending the law when we want to put somebody in jail. And we start bending to the will of the people and not the maintaining the letter of the law.
And
brother, it's going to be a lot of us in jail because people just want to say.
Right. They changed it for us as a whole. They make the laws as they go along.
I don't want to say it's for us. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying in general.
I don't want to make it a white black thing. I want to make it a case law thing.
Right.
The law is the law.
They make the laws as they go. They might not necessarily know what they want to do, but they'll figure it out.
So Price, this kind of goes back to what I was saying before. Why was this man in jail in the first place? Who allowed this to happen? Like, why are they waiting 3 years? They took 3 years of this dude's life that he should have been at home. Now, whether you feel that he raped these women or not,
if you don't have evidence, no proof. How you gonna convict?
Correct. There was no proof. There was no evidence.
This is the casualty of Me Too. This is the casualty that came from Me Too. Me Too came in two very popular, well-known predators and was arrested. And that was, well, I say two, but I think Harvey Weinstein was arrested. Well, I'm not going to say two, but two was arrested in very suspicious ways. Before we even go any further, we all in agreement that Harvey Weinstein was out here raping these girls. Like he was legit. He was. Check it out. I
Hey, he was
believe
making them.
I believe Harvey
Hey,
Weinstein took advantage of his position,
Yes.
that's
Yes, he
exactly
did.
what he did.
Yes,
That's
he
but
all
did.
he did.
but
But I don't think he
quid pro
forced
quo,
himself on nobody.
Right. You
quid pro
do this,
quo.
you get something. You do
Mm-hmm.
I
this, you
can't.
get something.
I mean, I would love to say that somebody. I don't say I would love to say, but it would be very. It would be better for me if somebody said Harvey Weinstein did this, and when he did it, I went to the cops
Yes.
because it was wrong and it was predatory in nature, and I went to the police. And I understand why they say, well, this is why women don't speak. Bump all that. You got to say something. You got to say something. You got to strike when the iron's hot.
Here's the thing, and here's the thing. I know a lot of times when stuff like this happens, a lot of women don't come forward because of a stigma, because the stigma that comes along with being sexually assaulted, when maybe embarrassment, or they don't want people to know. I get it.
Alexa,
But
open.
you're trying to tell me 50 plus women all did the same thing, and that
Alexa,
that
open
right
Ben.
there is hard for me to comprehend. But at the same time, like I said, I wasn't there. It could have happened. He could have been 50 for 50,
I don't like that pile on garbage.
but but
That's the thing.
I have common sense, and common sense tells me that that's highly unlikely
Alexa, open
that
Chrome.
nobody just said, I'm going straight to the police.
I'll say this. This is what I told. Who's this? This is what I told my wife when it came out. This is the benefit of Me Too is that what is
Who's
this?
doing that? Who's doing that?
No, that's mine. My bad.
Okay.
The
I'm
benefit.
trying to get it. There you go. My
The
bad.
benefit
All
of
right.
no problem.
Shut up.
Come on, Price. Chill out, man. What you got going on over there?
Turn
All
down
right.
your life.
Is that a speaker
No, I was gonna say
you got over there, bro?
All right.
the
No,
So
Alexa.
benefit of Me Too is that it allowed women to be heard. And as a father with a daughter, I want her to always know that someone will hear you.
right.
But the problem with Me Too, and this is because I have a son, is
Get off.
I need someone to make sure that we run these things to ground. I can't just take your word for it without vetting what you're saying, because I don't want my son to be the victim of believe the women, and I don't want my daughter to be the victim of I'm scared, so I'm not that no one's going to believe me, so I'm not going to say anything.
Right.
But
Right.
the problem that I have with it is the stigma behind it. It's so damning that you can't really get out from under it. And you go on the apology tour or the sensitivity tour, and you might not have done anything wrong. I know they tried to ensnare Ryan Seacrest for it, and he just stood his ground, like, "Hey, that didn't happen. I'm not fessing up to none of that. That never happened." And he stood his ground, and they left him alone. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But when you wiggle and you waver or you hedge on it, I think you've already put a certain amount of doubt in people's mind. And just say, "Hey, that never happened." I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Unless you can prove it, you know what I'm saying? Unless you got irrefutable evidence of this taking place, But this whole, uh, I put myself and I put somebody in a bad position, and no, it's like you don't have to do that. If you're guilty, you're guilty. If you're not, don't cop to anybody's plea or make them, feel like, well, you can't get out from under this or whatever. If you didn't do something wrong and you know you didn't do something wrong, there's no reason to apologize. I'm sorry.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Well, I think the idea is to be have some empathy or sympathetic to someone's feelings on how a situation went down. So I understand what the intent is, but I do understand that if it goes too far, that it can put you in a place where you can't come back from. I mean, I look at Aziz Ansari, where somebody just had a bad experience. They had a bad hookup, but it was a consensual hookup, and then that person tried to counsel them, and it came out to women that would read the story and was like, this ain't rape. Y'all just didn't, he just into some weird stuff, and y'all don't have a good hookup. But I mean, at the height of Me Too, people was like, nah, that's wrong. It's like, not really. There was some consent there, and you just didn't get down with his level of kink, but it wasn't like he did something wrong.
I think what's the face's problem, the biggest problem I think with Cosby, I think Cosby has a unconscious woman fetish To be honest with you, I think that was probably his biggest
Oh,
thing.
what?
I think he has a fetish for probably having sex with women who are groggy or unconscious or something like that. Because I'm just saying, why are all these women in his hotel room and things of that nature? They came to. I hope I'm not sounding like a chauvinist or misogynist, but they came to do something with that man. You know what I'm saying? It might not have been how they wanted it done, but
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yes, like what were they doing in a married man's hotel room? I get that, and that also plays into was this at some point, like you said, do for me, I do for you. I don't know, man. It's all
I think he has some kind of weird fetish though that he
Rocky.
probably hasn't
You
addressed.
you
Like,
had some opinions. I definitely want to hear your point of view.
Okay. One of the things is wrong with our criminal justice system. A lot of people can start coming up and say, well, he molested me 10 years ago whenever I was 10 years old, or so on and so forth. And these people get convicted just by word of mouth. And you got a lot of celebrities, just because of their status, they're getting off with only God knows what. And uh, y'all mentioned Harvey Weinstein. I think he's guilty as the day is long,
Mm-hmm.
but he had them big dollars. You had all these actresses and so on and so forth, women. This is just my personal opinion, and like I said, I believe he was guilty as the day is long. But you had all these people coming and dropping their panties, just trying to get his money.
Mm-hmm.
Get a
After
job.
after they got what they wanted out of him, and the so-called let me just try to water this down a little bit. Once celebrity comes out and he was sexual, you got another celebrity says, "Well, I got to do." They're getting a lot of publicity on national TV. Maybe I need to say I got assaulted
Mm-hmm.
just to get their name in the media, because the celebrity status is all about keeping your name in the media, because
Yeah.
that's how they make money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if any of y'all guys here on the panel had somebody come out and say something against y'all,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to probably be convicted, even myself, just
You got a point there. Yes,
because
because
we're
we don't have the dollars. It wouldn't even have got that far. We would probably be innocent. I mean, guilty before proven innocent.
exactly.
I hear that. I
Now,
definitely hear that.
color has nothing to do with it. I believe Bill Cosby is guilty, just as Harvey Weinstein is. And one of his co-hosts on the Cosby Show actually came out a few years ago, I believe, and said that he actually assaulted her on the set. And uh, there's been a report that one of the reasons why he was released is because of his age. And there's many people in our judicial system right now that are going to die in prison. And there's a person here in Arkansas that has spent over 45 years in prison for, I think it was in the 1970s, stealing food for his family.
Mm.
And after he got incarcerated, he did take somebody's life while he was incarcerated. But still, that man is never going to see the light of day.
Right. Well, here's the thing, Rocky. I don't know these cases. I don't know. I don't know how they what piece of evidence they used to convict this person.
Right.
Now, here in this Cosby situation we have, there was no evidence to convict them. Only thing they had was a deposition that they never should have been able to use in the first place.
Well, that's my whole point. There was a case in our local community where this woman said her uncle sexually assaulted her whenever she was 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She's now 21 years old. Why did you wait so long? Why did you wait whenever you was 17, 18, or even 15 to go forward? So part of the thing is the only thing that they have against this gentleman is the deposition that she made.
Right. I think to Rocky's point, I think Cosby had so much money and influence that could have played a part into why the DA didn't seek criminal charges. Because again, in a he said, she said case, it's a 50-50 chance. If somebody came up with allegations against, like Rocky said, anybody on the panel, you're probably going to go to jail. Yes. The sentiment today is believe the women. It's within the statute of limitations, but there's no physical evidence. The initial sentiment is going to be, can we show him as untoward or aggressive? And in the case of Cosby, because he had money, that probably was going to be, his money, his lawyers, it probably wasn't going to be a case that she was going to win. Because again, in their exchanges, she took things. In reading the deposition, she in reading her police report, she met him on several occasions. She took money from him.
Several occasions after?
No, like before. Okay. She met him at his house alone. There was a consensual relationship of sorts there, and in her statement, it only got physical. I think she said twice. The first night when he touched her leg, and nothing happened after that, and then the night that he assaulted her. But even after that, she continued to come back. She continued to meet him at his house alone. So in that case, maybe she was advised that a criminal case will probably not get her the justice that she wants, so go civil. So if she gave up that criminal case after a year where it was still within the statute of limitations, and she went civil, and this deposition was made as an agreement for that civil case, you then can't come 15 years later and say, now because the movement is here, let me try you criminally. The statute of limitations is expired. The deposition is protected. And even in the first case where they didn't get a verdict, to come back now and then say, now we're going to allow other people to speak. That's not justice. That's not giving him the fair shot. I think he's guilty of sin, but I think what the procedural misconduct that they took to convict him is why he's free right now. And my position is, if you're gonna get him, get him. But if you're gonna try some rope-a-dope to get him, I can't be down with that, because you would try that rope-a-dope on somebody else. You would try that rope-a-dope on me. I mean, perfectly honest, I think R. Kelly is guilty of sin. But right now, R. Kelly is sitting in court and sitting in jail because he can't get bond. And he can't get bond. And this whole case is around a video that somebody found that is the same video that he's already been tried for. His lawyers even say it. This is double jeopardy. Right. You've already tried me for this case. Nobody testified, but now in the new era, or maybe new facts, I don't know, we are holding him for something that you already said he's innocent of. Right. And that we already know that he paid somebody for. He paid somebody else for.
See, crimes like what Cosby was charged with, there's actually no statute of limitation on those types of charges. Those type sexual assaults is in the category as murder. There's certain crimes that only has a 7-year statute of limitations policy, but there's certain higher class felonies that you can be charged even 40 years down the road.
I think that was the particular case because it was in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania had a longer statute of limitation, but some of these cases, like the ones that was supposedly where it happened in Vegas or New York, these people they're not going to get their day in court. It's too far gone. I think in Pennsylvania was because the time frame in Pennsylvania was longer. I think that's why that was the only case that they could take that far.
Okay. We got a new member up, new participant up in here. C. Nina Mayo, how you doing?
Hello, gentlemen. How we doing?
We're doing good. So, what's your stance on this whole thing, C. Nina?
And you talking about Cosby being free?
Yes.
Oh, well, I'm extremely happy that they have decided to. I'm not really up to date on the nature on why they overturned it, but all of the mess leading up to his arrest was very sketchy in the first place. And it was stories after stories and too many theories, and all the man wanted to do was buy into some business. So
Exactly.
Right. So, and I'll get you up to date. Basically, some evidence they used to convict him should never have been used. It was part of a deposition for a civil trial. So for a criminal trial, they went back to use his deposition where he admitted to buying drugs. Literally, that's. I mean, if you look at the deposition, that's all he said he did. He never said he raped anyone. He never said anything crazy. He just said I bought drugs.
No, he copped to the assault.
I mean, he copped to having sex.
No,
I mean, but he.
So, well, this is the thing. It wasn't penetration. He didn't. Oh, we don't get there. He copped to the assault. Let's put it that way. I mean,
Did he say I sexually assaulted these women? When they asked him, did you sexually assault these women? Did he say, or did he say I had relations while?
In some cases, he agreed that it was consensual. In some of these cases that people said it wasn't consensual, he said it was. He's saying it is consensual. But in this particular case that they was being deposed for, he did cop to an assault.
Then he should be in jail. But at the same time, you gotta prove that he did the crime.
right.
No, hold on. It wasn't a criminal case.
Okay.
It wasn't a criminal case.
Gotcha.
It was a civil case with the expectation of what he was saying in his deposition wouldn't be used against him criminally. You see what I'm saying? So he agreed that things happened, that he took it out of line. I mean, they had him on tape. The lady and her mother called and recorded him. So he didn't lie. He said he assaulted her. He didn't penetrate her with his penis, but he assaulted her.
Right.
And he paid for that.
Right.
And then they used that deposition where he admitted to things that they could not bring into court any other ways because of statute of limitations to say that he has a predatory nature. Now, reading the deposition, I do think he has a predatory nature. But would you have got that information by any other way? Because no one's going to go in. He has his Fifth Amendment rights. He has the right to not self-incriminate. And he didn't do that thinking that he was going to be criminally charged for what he said. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said it. And they would have had to go against his, litany of lawyers to prove it, that he assaulted her. Okay. And that's what it always comes down to. And that's essentially, that's the right and left of it. I mean, I can't allow you to strike a deal with me, then rescind that deal to put me in jail.
Yeah, that's
one of the things
that's too close to double dipping.
How he had a hung jury, and then the jury was reconvened like a week later to trial.
No. They had a hung jury, and that's another thing, and that's the Me Too movement. They had a hung jury, so they didn't prove their case without a reasonable doubt. They then had another case, and in the other case, the judge allowed women who had been Cosby accusers to get on the stand and speak to this predatory nature. Now, that's like saying you can accuse me of something, and we can't go to court to prove that I did it, but then you can get on the stand and tell a story that matches somebody else's story about how this is my character.
Right. Yeah, it's called relevance.
It's irrelevant. What you're saying, you can't prove happened, or we haven't proved happened. So now all these people get to get on the stand and basically character assassinate me. It's crazy.
If we was in an actual court,
be admissible on the head.
Yeah.
They constantly let hearsay in, and that's a problem. Because if you didn't see it, or if there's no evidence of that fact, how can you use that against me?
Right.
You're using it against the deposition. And how do I know these people aren't coached? Now he could all these women who showed up and said he did what he did, he could have did all of that.
Yes.
But would you had known it if he hadn't have made that deal to tell on himself?
That's
Right.
true. That's true.
Right. And here's the thing, like, I mean, the law is what the law is. Maybe there should be laws put in place where, you know, there is no statute of limitations on some of these crimes. Maybe it should be a thing where, you know, you have to play by the rules in legal matters. The rules are the rules for a reason. You can't bend those rules to make an example of someone because
They do it all the time, though.
They do. But you know,
so what you're saying is moot, because if they're constantly doing it, it does not matter. The laws are on the books for a particular reason. And guess what? If I say, or like as we have seen and is now being videotaped all over the world, it was the cops' word against the person they arrested were. Now, when you got videos popping up all over the place, what do they say? Oh, well, he was resisting arrest. They're going to make up anything. The video comes out, shows that he's not resisting arrest. What happens to him? Nothing. So it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? The laws are there, but they're not.
I think we get
But Price, this is what we're saying. The rules have to be consistent, because
exactly, and that's what I'm saying. That's the problem. They're not.
How you enforce them is one thing, but when we go to court, I have to be able to call on the same case law of blah 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 versus blah blah blah. You know, Cosby versus Minnesota. You can't depose me and give me this deal that what I say is not going to be criminally used against me. Then use it against me. I mean, it's in those legal decisions that we have to be able to say, this is the letter of the law. This is the line. I don't care what the police going to do. The police can beat you over. But here's the thing. The police can beat me over the head. But when I get to the court in front of a judge, I expect for a judge to say, that's not right. There's a law against this.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
The problem was it was already public, so they didn't have a choice but to do a public case. They did not have a choice. And one's got a question, would we even know about this publicly if he wasn't trying to buy into the big business?
Exactly.
Well, I don't know all the
I hit the conspiracy in that, but
I don't know about all the
conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I don't know all about the validity. He was trying to buy NBC. I don't know.
He wasn't trying to buy it. He was just trying to put money into it. You know, like invest, like any other person would with money.
The theory is he was trying to buy it, and Cosby ain't got that type of money.
He don't, which makes it like so outlandish because he, you know.
Yeah,
I'm not going to play into the conspiracy theory because I'm not going to downplay the fact that I think he's a predator.
Right.
I mean,
I said, I did mention
that at all, not at all.
But
I'm just saying they held this for years. Right.
I just really want to talk about that naked light-skinned girl who jumped out from behind the tree.
What?
Actually, that's what Rocky was talking about. She was actually. That's what Rocky was talking about. She was actually one of she was a co-star on the Cosby Show. She played one of Rudy's friends, and she accused Cosby of being one of the victims of Cosby that was on the show. And at the trial, she jumped out of a pair of bushes with like writing on her chest, and she was like didn't have any shirt on, but she had writing over her chest where she was saying something about she was a victim. But she was like she played on like the Family Matters in a couple of episodes. She was like Rudy's friend on the Cosby Show. A couple of episodes. Yeah.
Right.
I really appreciate y'all allowing me to come up, and lady. I'm going to jump off here.
There you go. Okay.
I really like the intellectual fortitude of your channel, and I'm going to add it to my.
Thank you. Definitely subscribe, man. I want to see you on more of these, man. I like differences of opinions, and I'm you treat us with respect. I'm gonna give you the respect too to come on here and say what you got to say, man. But if you need to get off, I totally understand, man. We're about to actually end this in a little bit anyway, because I got other stuff to do.
My day starts at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Go get some sleep,
Oh,
man.
yeah, no.
You
sleep.
before you get off, you from Arkansas, right?
Yes, sir. I sure
What part? What part?
Mountain View, Arkansas.
Is that close to Little Rock?
We're about 3.5 hours north of Little Rock.
Okay. All right. I got some family. We got some family in Little Rock. That's why I asked. I've only been out there once, but
This is the Ozark Mountain region.
Okay.
I actually live in the mountains.
All right. It was nice having you on, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, and hope to catch y'all again soon.
All right. Thanks, Rocky.
Have a good night.
Good one.
Yep. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said before, this man can literally be 50 for 50 in all these cases, and it, like Derek, like you said, it's more than 50. He can, but we weren't there, and since we aren't there, we have to expect prosecution to come up with a case to prove what he's being accused of, and if you can't do it,
You got nothing.
you got nothing. Like Matt said, you got nothing. And I can't go around like now. For all we know, they proved like before all this happened, and if you didn't read how they were able to get them, you were under the impression that they got them. But now it comes out that they used evidence that they weren't even supposed to use. You didn't get them. You didn't get him. I can't call this man. I can't. He we ain't God. None of us are judge, jury, and execution in here. We weren't there. I mean, yes, we can have our opinions, but you know,
I'm gonna say this.
What do they say about opinions?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say it very carefully.
I was thinking that myself.
I'm gonna say it very carefully. With the advantages of the Me Too movement and what we've seen with Cosby, what I want people to start doing is I want people to start to purposely tread and understand their decisions before they make them. Because here's the thing, how much of this was avoidable? You know what I'm saying? How much of this was avoidable for Cosby?
Yeah, I was about to say on both sides. On both sides.
How much of this was avoidable for the women?
Yes.
I mean, Bill Gates basically told us a couple of days ago that I got married to a chick who I flirted with and found at my job. I ain't get hit with no civil suit. I ain't get hit with sexual harassment. This worked for me, and I married her. Mm-hmm. And then, me as the richest man in the world, I made an agreement with her. Yeah, you'll be my wife, but I'm still gonna take a weekend and fuck my girlfriend. So every 1 week out of every year, he went and banged his old girlfriend, took her on vacation. Now, Bill Cosby got the same kind of money.
Right.
Bill Cosby got money though. Bill Cosby,
right.
You think his wife didn't know about these? You think Bill Cosby's wife didn't know about these chicks?
Of course she did. Of course she did.
Right.
And she ain't tripping.
No.
And she ain't tripping.
But how was he dealing with them? He said in the deposition he would call women over when he wanted to be with them, and then she said, "And how would it end?" He said, "I stopped calling." So he just discarded people.
That's probably why they get mad.
This was his deposition. This was when I got done, I stopped calling. And so all the promises of making you famous, all the promises of working on your singing. This one lady said he was helping me with my singing career. Bill Cosby ain't a singer.
Right.
Well, she a fool for.
You know what I'm saying?
She a fool.
It's so. I mean, how many people have he made stars? You know, that wasn't on his show.
If you came
but here's the thing. But how you
me in return?
How you moving? But look how you moving. If you said that you felt that this dude raped you, I'm not going to even discount it. If you feel he raped you, he raped you. Did you go to the police? Yeah. Now maybe back in the day we couldn't go to the police, but now I hope now people understand this is how I'm gonna move. I got Me Too. If something happens to me, I'm going to the police. I'm not going to take your payment. I'm not going to take your gifts. I'm not going to take your I'm sorry's. I'm not going to call you and go back over to your house again, because all that do is weaken my case. I'm not going to take your movie role. If somebody say something happened to you, go ahead and report it. We got your back. But report it when there's evidence of the case. You know what I'm saying? Report it when I could ping 2 cell phone towers and see y'all both was at the same place at the same time. Report it when you still got, bumps and bruises and saliva, and we can then we with you $100,000. But if you come back 40 years later and say, y'all remember when I was kicking it with Cosby? Yeah, that nigga raped me. Like,
what is that click? Is that you, Derek, clicking something?
Yeah, it's all me clicking this thing. But
But yeah, man,
it's hard for me to it's hard for me to rock with you.
Yeah,
it's hard for me to rock with you when I find out after he allegedly raped you, you went back to his house, or you took more money, or you did something else. And he may be, like I said, I think he's a scumbag. I think he's a predator.
If that's what he did, he's a scumbag.
Man, I can't. It's hard for me to ride with you because I know if somebody raped my kid, if they ain't dead, they in jail.
Right.
Facts.
Scott's on.
Yep. And that's where we're gonna leave it, man. We're gonna leave it there. I want to thank everybody for hopping on. We got a podcast tonight. Record. And this was gonna be a quick hit. Again, want to thank everybody. D, Price, Matt, Nina, Derek. Thanks for hopping on.
What was
we
the
out.
other fella's name? I can't remember.
What'd you say?
What was the other fella's name? Arkansas fella.
Rocky.
Okay.
Yeah, what's up, by the way, man? Long time.
I think Rocky just saw you live on YouTube and jumped in, man.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's cool. That's
Pretty
cool.
much
That's how
what
it
it's
should
supposed to
be.
be like.
All right, I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
Peace.
Yeah.